Hey everybody, it's Deep Sigh Thursday, where we're trying to get all the stuff done that we think that we should get done by the end of the week. So we're here for the shop update at Woodsmith, seeing what's going on behind the scenes for the projects that we're building for Woodsmith and shop notes. Maybe a couple of personal projects in there as well, you never know. They're all really personal, thankfully, for the stuff that we do. We put a lot of ourselves into these. We're going to get started with an update from Mark on his projects.
Hey everyone, so I've got a few things going this week. I'm going to take you to the photo studio in a sec. But let's talk about what I'm working on next is Chris Fitch designed kind of a set shoji screen wall cabinet. So this is going to be made out of cherry. And then it's going to have a lot of the paper that goes behind the doors. So never done anything like this before, so it's going to be an interesting one. Lunch break project, working on a cocktail bar that we're hosting a party on at the weekend. So I want to build a little bar that's appropriate for the theme of the party, which is Palm Royale. So it's all Baltic birch construction. Luckily I found some laminate in the rack that matches the theme, which is it's perfect, matches the wallpaper that I put on there. So that was lucky. This is just a peel and stick wallpaper. As you see, I'm short a little bit on the sides, but I'm going to fill that in with, I'm going to do some kind of veneer accent that's going to wrap around there and then fill this gap in, so you're never going to notice that. I've got some hairpin legs on it, which they're pretty easy to install. Yeah, I'm happy how it's turned out. So prior to starting on this and starting on the next project, I've got wrapped up with a John Doyle special, which is a little gift box. So follow me. Okay, so this was the John Doyle designed gift box. Walnut and then curly maple as the lid. We put some splines in there for the miters, which are walnut again. Nothing too crazy about the construction of this, other than we have some little pins, 1/8 inch pins that go into the side. They've got a spring on them. So these little covers hide the holes where you can access the pins and the spring if you want to take the lid off. Inside I've got a little divider that you can take in and out. So that's removable. Maple bottom for it. So there is that. I think that's all I've got for you this week. More on the shoji cabinet next week when I get started on that on Monday. So check back in then. Thank you.
Steve?
Hey everybody. Well, this is the latest. It's a hall table. We made it out of ash. I think last week I had the box made and I was starting to cut pieces out for the base. 2 drawers, all ash, and I took the drawer fronts out of one board, so because you definitely have a left drawer and a right drawer because of the overlap on this divider. So anyway, it's kind of a, what do they call it, postmodern?
Sure.
And we had to add these braces because this top's pretty heavy and it was a little wobbly front to back, so but that stiffened it up pretty good. So anyway, it's all done. We're still waiting on drawer hardware. Not sure what they picked, but get those on and it'll be done.
Sweet.
Thanks.
Go time.
maybe it's been a week or two since we've talked about the tool rack I've been working on. So the kind of the whole idea behind what this project was to create something that would house all the tools that you like to keep near. So with that in mind, I tried to come up with something that was relatively ambiguous in terms of, it could accommodate several different types of tools, but the whole idea is to kind of customize this thing for the tools you do have or the ones that you use on a regular basis. And so some of the usual brackets are in here. I have a rack up here that just has basically a slot that runs the full length, so you can put things like combination squares or chisels up there. Of course, you could house other things. There's a groove that goes through this top shelf, so if you have longer items that need to go down through there, you can. There is a shelf here for smaller items. I keep my block plane usually in a cabinet, kind of out of the way. I'm fighting to kind of figure out where some of this stuff is. If you're out in the shop every day, it's easy for things to get misplaced, and you're gone long enough, and so you're spending more time searching for tools you need rather than doing what you like to do, which is build. So small space down below. I did cut this groove for a power drill. I like keeping my 12 volt close just for sinking screws or creating counter bores in plywood. And then another feature up top here is I did a little cutout or a hole to feed a cord through. It's a little difficult to see, but this thing is not flush with the back. I ended up using some 3/4 1 inch spacers to get it up off the wall, and the idea behind that was so that you could run power cords. So if you're somebody that wants to maybe use this as a full-time charging station, you can. I just need it for the one, of course, but again, I wanted to create some space back there so you could run cords. On the sides are wings over here. I did a series of holes over here for, again, you can see I've got an awl and a screwdriver. Of course, if you had a set of screwdrivers, you could set them over there. On the other side, I just did a slot. I've got a back saw and my compass over there. And then down below is just an extension of the back. I use my 18-inch ruler all the time, and so keeping that as close is important. Rolls of tape use all the time. The only thing you don't see there is double stick tape, which is another has frequent use in my shop. Another way you could arrange this down here too is if you want to do a series of pegs like there is for the tape, you could hang a series of saws. I've seen that done before as well. But again, the whole idea behind this is, again, to kind of just customize this the way that you need it or to suit your needs. So again, that's going to be contingent on the tools. But either way, it turned out to be a really nice project. I'm looking forward to having a shot next week. All the joinery is really simple. The only hardwood in it are the two sides, and then the tool rack up top, we use leftover alder. So this is also a great project if you've got those scrap pieces lying around your shop. Surely you have plenty to create something of this scale. So got that wrapped up, and one other thing I want to talk about is an Art Nouveau mirror I'm working on. I haven't made it terribly far, however, I am, I think, in a good spot in terms of how I want to break this project down. The challenge with Art Nouveau is that there really isn't much of a rule book, and there really isn't a lot out there on construction methods for Art Nouveau, because stylistically it's dealing with a lot of really organic, kind of sinuous lines and shapes, derived from nature. And so to kind of take that and walk it back to something that's explainable for someone to build in a project is definitely a challenge. And so I'm trying to figure out which elements I want to include, which ones I can negate, and then as I kind of get a general design down, which I have something, at least a form here, I can start breaking down the joinery and basically how this thing's going to come together. As it stands right now, this is a floor standing mirror. It could be scaled down to be just a wall mounted one, but I have the feature I did want to include. I've got these are essentially applications that will go on that are kind of supposed to be reminiscent of stems of plants, and then they will kind of flow into the top here, and we'll have basically like a flower motif. There's a lot out there for templates. There's obviously a lot of different types of flowers you could use, but again, just trying to come up with something that we can present that makes it accessible for people without completely bastardizing the Art Nouveau style. But it's a cool style. We don't talk about it enough. We've only done, I think, maybe a couple projects that have been successful, but again, have not really explored it as a period in furniture history very much. So I'm super excited about this. Hopefully this time next week we'll have a model and some drawings to look at. I can't imagine this thing will be built by next week. That would be very ambitious. But nevertheless, we'll have that wrapped up, and then I will be jumping into shop notes. I'm going to be working on probably three very, very simple plywood projects for the shop notes 147. So definitely in the future. That's all I have this week, so check in next week. Thanks for joining me.
There you have it. That's it for today's shop update at Woodsmith. Two things. We'd always love to see you come stop in and visit and get your own tour of the place. You can see more of the photo studio, what's going on in the shop, as well as whatever we have going on in the video studio or for the TV show or our YouTube channel. You can check that out. Also, don't forget to set aside some time in October, the 11th and 12th, to come here for our Woodworking in America event. We'll have that. We're going to be hosting that at a refurbished junior high, just a little bit of ways from here, and you'll be able to do a tour for that. If you want to find out more information, see some of the speakers that we have lined up for that already, you can go to woodsmith.com and then just search for Woodworking in America. And then we'll see you next week, everybody. Bye.